Imagine a beautiful, pristine wilderness. The northern lights are shining above you, the caribou are running through fields and calling out to one another, and there is wind rushing through trees and grasses. Clean, clear water is bubbling in a nearby river, and you feel free, at peace. U.S. oil companies want these views too, but not to maintain. Alaskan oil drilling is a real significant issue that impacts Alaska and beyond, and here is why it matters.
Here is Alaska, and here is the Alaskan target. The National Petroleum Reserve is a major source of oil in Arctic Alaska and has been the location of major drilling sites such as the Pika and Willow projects, which contribute to a myriad of ecological damages to the ecosystem the site is located in. It likely won't stop with these projects either. As the U.S. demands for petroleum products grow, there is increased demand for sourcing. Let's look at some numbers. Here's a graph comparing the consumption, production, and net imports of petroleum products in the United States. Notice the trend around the mid-2000s when the net imports, in green, begin decreasing, and the production, in yellow, increases. This indicates an increased shift towards domestic oil use, meaning domestic oil production, or production of these products within the United States, is also increasing. Overall growth of petroleum product use leads to a progressively warming atmosphere due to larger quantities of greenhouse gases trapping heat in the atmosphere. We also know that heat causes ice to melt. And one particular point where this is important to consider is when thinking about permafrost. As this permanent ice present on Alaska's Arctic North Slope is heated, the temperature of the ice rises and the ice begins to melt, releasing other trapped greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, therefore continuing the cycle of rising greenhouse gas presence in the environment.
These atmospheric effects shown by the data aren't the only impacts of the drilling taking place in the northern slopes. The largest factor currently incentivizing the continued extraction of petroleum products is based around economic and political support. There is a bipartisan support at both the state and federal level for permitting further extraction in the region on the basis of boosting Alaska's economic growth. But this viewpoint fails to look beyond the short-term benefits, ignoring the long-term benefits that may ultimately be more costly to repair once degraded. While drilling in the region has historically been a major moneymaker, this has caused a regional reliance on one industry for profit that subsequently decreases the appeal of other industries, such as hunting, fishing, and tourism. Additionally, despite this reliance, much of the money made by the companies in the region, such as ConocoPhillips, BP, and Doyen Drilling, doesn't go back to the communities in the area to an impactful degree. This connects directly to the social challenges these drilling practices present. The native communities in the area have mixed support for the local petroleum production due to disagreements about economic benefit, ecological damage, as well as land use and land ownership rights. Subsequently, divisions between villages and tribes in the area are growing. Closest villages to the drilling sites are facing health hazards as well. For example, the village of Nuksut is experiencing increased respiratory illnesses because of their proximity to these sites, and are especially at risk to the long-lasting effects of oil spills and fires.
You may be wondering, what can you even do to help? Especially if you don't live in Alaska, the issue may seem both disheartening and distant. However, the effects expand beyond Alaska and fuel wider environmental and justice challenges. This means everyone, even you, the viewer, can contribute to discouraging oil drilling and production in the state of Alaska. Donating to organizations that support restoring and protecting Alaska and Alaskan wilderness is a great way to directly contribute to the ecological protection of the area. There are actions that can be taken to fight against the continuously growing demand and production of petroleum products in both Alaska and the United States as a whole. But seeing change means taking those actions to reduce consumption and support both groups without power as well as groups with power that have similar visions of what the world could look like without such high oil demands. The world can change for the better, but the change won't happen without strategic and continuous action.